Welcome back to the Morgan Thomas Show with my co-host, Big Al, Alan Adams. The second segment of the night is really the first thing I want to start it off with is Tua undergoing ankle surgery again, Al. This is the same ankle surgery that he had last year, and this is from a top headline over on ESPN as well. Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, I think I said that right, Tagovailoa, will miss Saturday's game against Arkansas. Wow, big deal. I mean, it's Arkansas. I believe Chad Morris is like doing everything he can to not win any games. But he's undergoing a surgery to help repair his high ankle sprain that he suffered against Tennessee. Man, we need to talk about that Tennessee game because that was a little bit closer than I think people wanted it to be over on Alabama's side. But he suffered it and in the win, and he had to leave. It was interesting. He left the game and got into an ambulance and then came back in street clothes. It was very concerning for Alabama fans and very eye-opening, very big deal for those non-Alabama fans that are kind of looking what's going to happen. But with no question, they went in the very next day, I believe this was yesterday, and just performed that same surgery that he had on his other leg, other ankle in the SEC championship last year. And so it's called a tightrope procedure. It kind of basically the two bones in your leg down there, they drill a hole through them and kind of put a rope through them and then tie them off at the ends and then kind of make it closer together so they don't pull apart. Now, I'm not a medical guy. I don't know anything about all that. It just sounds a little painful, but you kind of have like a 4-inch scar down there at your ankle. And but they say that it's done. They used to do it with screws, like actual screws through both the bones, and you'd have a lot of problems with that. Like the screws would break, or it would just keep you immobile for a longer period of time in a boot. And so now they have this kind of bungee, or not bungee, but it's kind of like metal cords or whatever that are braided and wrapped around. And they do that so that the recovery period is a lot faster. Obviously, he had, I think, about a month before he had to go play Oklahoma before that last surgery. Now he really only has 3 weeks, so it's a week shorter. But everybody seems to think that he's going to be okay. To me, I feel like that, it's always iffy when you do these surgeries and you want him to come back so quick. I get nervous when you had Amari Rodgers out there because I'm a ACL survivor myself. And so I got nervous in that case as well. But doctors kind of know what they're doing. I'm going to trust them. Alan, do you think I don't think it'll have any problem beating Arkansas. Do you think that do you think he'll be good to go for LSU? Keep in mind, there's Arkansas, then an open date, and then LSU.
Right. So they got 3 weeks. I mean, good to go is kind of a relative term. Will he play? Yeah, I think he'll probably play. Will he be 100%? No, I don't think there's any way he's going to be 100%. If I'm not mistaken, last year when he had 4 weeks off after the Georgia game to go to the college football playoff, I'm pretty sure he said he wasn't but 80 or 85% going into that game, and that was with 4 weeks. Right now he's only got 3 to kind of get healthy. I think it's a good thing, obviously good timing for Alabama, at least that, Arkansas is this week, who is one of the worst Power 5 teams in the country. And then, of course, they have an off week. It's funny how the timing just seems to work out for Alabama. It's amazing how that goes. But I don't think he's going to be 100% for LSU. And I think that's going to pose some problems because, like you said, I don't think Alabama's defense is anywhere near the Alabama defense that they are used to. They're not as dominant. They've had points scored on them. I think they're vulnerable. I think they're definitely beatable. And if they're having Mac Jones as their quarterback for any significant amount of time, they're definitely beatable for sure. I mean, he's not going to scare anybody back there at the quarterback position for sure. So, I think they need Tua to be a playoff contender. Without him, I think they're going to have 1, if not 2 losses going forward. I don't think it's going to be to Arkansas. I think they can just hand the ball off every down and beat Arkansas. But, you said the Tennessee game was close for a while. And, of course, the Tide fans are going to say, well, we didn't have our quarterback. But they're going to forget the fact that Tennessee's quarterback went out as well. And they had to bring back in their backup for that game, too. So, there was a lot going on in that game that was kind of funny. But, the Tua thing is obviously going to be the headline grabber for sure. It's a big deal. Whether it becomes a big deal in 3 weeks, when they play LSU, who knows? Obviously, these procedures get better and better each year. So maybe he's ready. Maybe he's full go in 3 weeks. I just have my doubts. I've had a lot of ankle sprains in the past, and it really seems like a desperate move to get him back. I mean, they had that surgery immediately. I think they understand the urgency with the LSU game coming up and know that they probably cannot beat him with Mac Jones even at home.
I don't think that Alabama can beat LSU with the backup quarterback. I don't believe that at all. I want to see Tua in the game for LSU. I want to see those two big, giant teams go at it on November 9th. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. I'm also looking forward to LSU winning that game. I picked early in the season that I felt like LSU would had a big chance to go in there. Now, it works. It always works out perfectly for Alabama, right? He gets hurt. They play the biggest cupcake in the SEC, I believe, in Arkansas, who can't seem to win, can't seem to score, just terrible all around. So they come away with that, like you said, could just run the ball and get away with it. And then they get a bye week, which thank goodness that LSU gets a bye week. It would be typical Alabama if LSU didn't have a bye week. They already have to play Auburn, which we're going to talk about later on in the show in segment 3 and give our picks against the spread. But it'd just be typical LSU that they are typical Alabama that they would not only have a cupcake team, but then have a bye week while the other team that they're getting ready to play has 2 hard games. But thankfully, LSU doesn't have to look forward to the next week. They know that next week's going to be a bye week, so they can just focus on Auburn. To be honest with you, just kind of jump ahead, I think that LSU will go through Auburn. I think LSU has everything they need to beat Auburn. I don't trust Bo Nix, and so I think LSU is going to be able to beat Auburn and go into it. 2 undefeated teams going into the beginning of November. It's going to be exciting for sure to watch that.